The Biden administration is bringing amendments that would propose that all nations of the earth cede their sovereignty over national health care decisions to the WHO. So what this would mean, Steve, is that the WHO would have decision-making authority to intervene into the United States government policy in any nation of the world without our permission. So, for instance, the lockdowns where you see 26 million people today locked down in Shanghai, China, they can't leave their apartments or homes. The WHO would have the authority to be able to impose that here in the United States for whatever pretext they want. They don't have to show data. They could do this. What this does, Steve, bottom line, is it creates a platform for global governance through the WHO.
They're not going to stop. Britain is already talking about giving up sovereignty. People in Ireland are already saying, what can we do? What can we do? There are 198 countries that are, discussing giving up sovereignty. Well, once you've done that and you understand we are in a state of emergency now, right? And New York State, on a state level, in a state of emergency. States across the country are in a state of emergency. It means that if tomorrow the treaty goes through and sovereignty, the decision making is elevated above the level of our nation state, Tedros on next Tuesday can declare that we're having a public health emergency, and you've already got in place all the elements of a war, of an occupation. So this is a time of extraordinary danger. I am a peaceful person. I do not want war, but war is being waged upon us. And when you think you know that you know what lack of sovereignty looks like when it comes to national security, you cannot imagine, because that is beyond tyranny.
Next week, the World Health Organization is meeting, and on the agenda is clearly the formulation of what's called a pandemic treaty, which will give the WHO greater control in how they dictate other countries manage pandemics. Would you sign up to such a treaty?
What we have said is that we need clearly to strengthen the WHO and the way that it operates. One of our three pillars of our foreign policy is our alliance with the United States, engagement in the region, and support for multilateral forums. Today, one of the things that we're about as well, and today's announcement, is about the response to the pandemic. That's why we're announcing today our support for medical manufacturing. Clearly, one of the lessons of the pandemic is that we weren't self-reliant enough.
So would you sign up to that treaty? Would you sign up to the treaty?
The World Health Organization meets on May 22, and on the agenda is a potential pandemic treaty which would allow WHO to direct countries in how they control pandemics. Would you consider signing up to that and handing over any controls to the organisation?
I have always been supportive right from the outset and was criticised heavily, I stress, heavily, mocked in fact by the Labor Party for saying the WHO should have those powers and those authorities to be able to go and deal with pandemic situations.
Thanks very much, and now Mark's going to talk.
Right. Thanks very much. Any questions for me?
Let's go. Mr. Albanese.
So I have been in the vanguard of those moves internationally to ensure that there is greater protection for world health, to ensure that those World Health authorities can come and understand what's going on and be able to assist countries to be able to prevent the spread and outbreak of major infectious diseases.
Will your deficit be higher or lower than the current?
I'm sorry, I'll just...
Now, we'll look at the text of all of that, but we have been amongst the countries that have been positive about these sorts of changes.
Yeah, I know. I'll just wait till this madness finishes. Yeah. Do you want to wait a minute, maybe? Or?
But the idea that countries can just say, no, you can't come in and have a look at a pandemic that's about to break out and actually affect the public health and the economy of the entire world, then I think it's only sensible that that's an area of international cooperation that is very, very important, and I've been consistent on that.
Honestly about that. Isn't there a problem with transparency?
We're following you for answers, Mr Albanese, and you're now just not giving them. You have to answer eventually.
Well, you've just been watching a very frustrated press pack there.